Hey everyone, it's Armchair. Hope you guys had a meaningful Memorial Day weekend as we're just exiting that. It's Tuesday as of uploading this. I have a lot of respect for families of veterans and people that are actively serving, as I do come from a family where, I have a lot of relatives that are veterans that have served in World War II, the Vietnam War, and it's not an easy thing what any of these people are doing, or what any veterans that have served in the past did. And any of their associates that made the biggest sacrifice they could make, they're always in my thoughts. I have that perspective to, have to myself. But, anyways, what I wanted to bring up was, and you put this together after seeing my post and the title of this video and the thumbnail. I was at the Mountain Home Airshow on Saturday, not Sunday. I did not see what happened on Sunday, but we'll get to that. So the Hill Airshow, the Warriors Over the Wasatch show, was cancelled because the 419th Fighter Wing is currently deployed in Iran. Sucks, but, that's how things are kind of going now. I wanted to find some kind of alternative to make up for that. And I eventually did find something. The Gunfighter Skies show in Mountain Home, Idaho. Honestly, not a bad distance away. It was just a 4-hour drive. In a climate that's, you're having to pay $4.50 for gas. I'm really, really glad I went. It was a very fun experience. I was able to go with a couple of people that I'd known from Utah, and we were just able to have a lot of fun. Lots of F-15s. It is a bomber base, and they have a lot of F-15s there, F-15Es, and the Singaporean F-15SG, which is a bit more advanced, originally from Singapore, but then it was transferred to Mountain Home to train those pilots. So those were cool. Something I was very excited for was the Growler Airshow Team from Washington. I was able to watch the full demo on Saturday as nothing happened. Albeit, we had to deal with high winds. They're about 16 miles per hour when they flew specifically. But it went without a hitch. I was able to get this really sharp shot of Growler 502, which I retroactively called it that, but that's a little bit wordy, so for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to call it Grizzly. And this is quite important to mention, because I had seen Grizzly before, and it was at the Huntington Beach Air Show 3 years prior. I like looking back at old photos that I've taken of aircraft that I see, because when I do, it feels like I'm following along in its journey, and it kind of feels like I'm a part of it, if that kind of makes sense. Here's another example of that. I do a lot of military spotting. I went to Gray Flag, which is a Navy operation that occurs at Point Mugu in Ventura County, California. I went to the one that happened in 2023, and it was pretty special because there was an E3 there, and it had the tail code 761607. And again, these were taken back in 2023. Now fast forward 2 years. I get up at 2 a.m., and I'm not kidding, I woke up at 2 a.m. to get ready for a 4-hour drive in the dark to go from my California home to Las Vegas. Because Red Flag is happening, specifically Red Flag 25-3. And I had planned this specifically so that I could go on the day that the AWACS flew, because I got word that AWACSs were flying during the early morning sorties. So I got out there, and I was super enthusiastic about it. I had my radar on as I was driving, because I didn't really need navigation. All I needed to see was where the AWACS was in real time. So I was watching it fly. I'm about 30 minutes out from the base. I'm not going on the base, but I'm rather just going to the flex spot, which is right up against the parking lots of the speedways. I'm about 30 minutes away from my stop, but the AWACS starts descending, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna miss this thing. But it's whatever, it's like a minor thing. I have 2 chances, it's gonna fly again in like 2 days. It's no problem, I'll see it, no matter what, right? I'll come back early Thursday morning, it's whatever. So, I keep my pace, I don't speed, because I don't want to get a ticket. I pull into my spot, I'm about to park, and I'm about to turn left. I look to my left, and that motherfucker is just flying right above the right above the street. I'm like, well, me, and I and I get my camera out as quickly as I can, and this is literally the first shot that I got of it. I'm gonna cycle through a few photos. What do you see there? 1607. And I quickly realized this is the same AWACS that I saw at Point Magoo in 2023. And that was a huge deal for me. Now, granted, there aren't too many E3s in the world, but it was still really special. And it was made even more special when the crew contacted me and said, yeah, that was us flying. So I sent him the photos, and then the guy sent me some patches. And yeah, that was super cool. So if I had missed that, and I went there any later, I would never have known that that same AWACS was there. That kind of got me obsessed with the idea of following along with the aircraft's journey. There's something that I explained to my friends where it's like, when I see something like that, when I see a familiar plane, it's almost like meeting an old friend, per se. The planes, I mean, they don't really have sentience or anything, but I can't help but think of it that way. Same thing with Triple Sticks and Vandy 1 representing the VX9 Vampires. Both of those I had seen at Grey Flag, and I was able to watch them around the same time that year in 2025 at the Camarillo Airshow. And they made a parade pass over the crowds. It was super cool to see. I'm always happy to have those kinds of experiences. And that's kind of why the Growler stuff is a bit more bittersweet for me. Because I had seen Grizzly so early on into my spotting journey. I don't know, it's just interesting to think about. And it's even more uncanny now, because the aircraft, as you all know, doesn't exist anymore. I'm not going to show you the video, but it's there. You've probably seen it from creators like Aaron Rines and other people, which, little secret, I really don't like Aaron Rines, but that's a whole nother can of worms. Anyways, you've probably seen the video. Grizzly collided with the other Growler. And honestly, it's a miracle that it happened the way that it did. The way that they sandwiched between each other, it still allowed both crews of the 2 pilots and the 2 Wizzos to eject safely. Now, it wasn't a safe situation by any means, but you get my point. As I said, I wasn't there on Sunday, but a few of my friends were, and it was a very scary situation for them. They had to sit and wait and worry as the base got locked down and everyone that had to attend to the situation did what they had to, basically. On top of the base crew and the entire audience, everyone that went, were very thankful that no one got hurt. Well, seriously injured. I mean, well, if you think about it, it's quite bad for your back if you have to eject from your aircraft at a spontaneous force of 20 Gs. But thank God it was nothing more than that. You don't really think too much about these things happening until they do happen. If you go enough to these things, my dad kind of told me that I'll eventually see it crash myself. And it's a very humbling thought, but while I'm prepared for that possibility, it still kind of takes you off guard. I'm not sure what the future holds for the Growler Airshow Team, but I am hoping nothing but the best for everyone that was in the air and pretty much everyone that's currently on the team, because that's something that affects everybody. But to the crew of specifically Grizzly and the Tandem Growler, that is Little Sebastian, Stuka, Alf, and Yertle, I'm hoping that you guys have been able to mentally and physically recover from, well, a very scary event. Really, I'm just hoping nothing but the best for you. The human survival factor and the worth of the human life, it easily outweighs the cost of losing a $67 million piece of hardware. It's getting the crew back alive that counts. We can always replace these things. But I'll still miss Grizzly. So there's my moment of reflection that I've kind of been thinking about throughout the week. Hope you found that interesting to hear, and thank you for listening. And I'll see you again very soon.